President Trump rolling back Biden-era fuel economy standards. LeBeau joins us now with Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. Phil.
Thank you, Andrew. Mr. Secretary, thanks for
Phil.
having us here in the office.
Welcome
no less.
to DOT.
Let's talk about the announcement yesterday. A dramatic cut in terms of fuel economy, miles per gallon. I think by 2031, the current standard under the Biden administration, 51 miles per gallon. You guys are saying, nope, 34 and a half. That's almost a 40% cut by 2031. Critics are looking at this and saying, why not just do it a little more gradually? And why did you go too far?
Well, so no, the last administration went too far. So the law was very clear. This is about combustion engines. And so the Biden-Buttigieg administration, they calculated EVs, they calculated hybrids in the calculus. And so they gave you a standard that a combustion engine could never meet. And so we brought it back to what the law actually says we should do, looking at combustion engines, making slow, gradual increases in efficiency. The problem was, as you had the car makers, they were investing billions in technology to try to meet a standard that was never attainable. So it was driving up the cost of a car. And then if they didn't meet the standard, they had to buy carbon credits or efficiency credits. The big, beautiful bill took those away. But this is real savings for the American family, bringing down the cost of a car. And I think bringing more freedom and choice to the consumers, because car companies are going to make cars that the consumers want to buy.
The cynic will look at this and say, yes, the automakers will save about $109 billion. That's your guys' estimate. And that's fantastic for the automakers. Comes out to about $1,000 per car, theoretically, that should be saved for consumers. You and I both know it's tough to say prices will go down. Do you honestly believe that the auto industry will lower their prices?
Listen, the auto industry is very competitive, right? We see that. We see offers all the time, whether it's on interest rates or on incentives to buy. So, yeah, listen, this is market driven. And so, yeah, lower prices mean more sales. And by the way, if we bring prices down and we get newer cars on American roads, newer cars are way safer. We save lives with these new cars, which is fantastic. So, no, and also I think if you're building a car, developing a car that Joe Biden or Pete Buttigieg wanted you to build, that's different than market demand. I want the market to decide what kind of EV I should offer, what kind of vehicles do the American consumers want to buy. This rule will actually allow you to bring back the 1970s station wagon, maybe a little wood paneling on the side, Phil. We can bring back choice to consumers. So, yeah, the minivan's awesome, but maybe the station wagon is cool, too.
But the average price paid for a new vehicle right now, just under $50,000.
Right. It's gone up.
Do you expect that to truly come down, let's say, by $1,000, $2,000?
Well, I know it's not going to go up by $1,000 or $2,000, right? Yeah, I'm hopeful they come down. But if you look at the auto market, yeah, number one, big beautiful bill says you can write off your interest payments. That's a great benefit for the consumer. Donald Trump, what he's done with American energy dominance, bringing down fuel prices. I was just in Wisconsin yesterday. A gallon of gas was $2.45 a gallon.
National average is under $3 now.
It's remarkable. And so, again, we're making small wins for the American consumer. The other administration was making small wins or small failures for the American consumer. So, don't you want us to go in the right direction? Hey, listen, if I'm going to buy a car, is $1,000 meaningful to me? Hell yes, it's meaningful. So let's not say that the $109 billion and $1,000 per car for the consumer isn't a big deal. I'm happy with that. Let's go further. But this is a great start.
Sean, I know Andrew's got a question for you. Andrew?
Mr. Secretary, I spoke to Mary Barra, CEO of GM, yesterday, and I wanted to show you a clip from that conversation and get your reaction to it, because I think this is something that is confronting CEOs of all stripes in all sorts of industries, but particularly, obviously, in the auto industry. Take a look at what she had to say.
If you look at what the policies are of each administration, we can't be blind to those. We have to make the investments to get to where the regulatory environment they set. We've seen a complete change in that, one way, in 180 degrees one way, 180 degrees back. That's the world CEOs of automakers are living in.
And Mr. Secretary, the question is, how do folks like Mary Barra avoid that? Which is to say, she was, all in on EVs, then she's slowing that down. I mean, and it's really been quite dependent on who's in office, and people are making these bets, effectively these investments, that really should be much longer term than 4 or 8 or 10 years?
Yeah, it's a great question. So you see there's a ping pong, Andrew, right? We're going from a Democrat administration, Republican administration, policies are changing, and it's hard if you're GM or you're Ford or Stellantis. Huge problem. However, I think my job is to say, well, what does the law say? And the law says you can't take into the calculus EVs. You can't take hybrids into the calculus when you're going to set a fuel efficiency standard, which is what Biden and Buttigieg did. So let's follow the law. Let's set a reasonable standard, which is what we've done. And I think Mary would tell you, listen, if America wants to buy EV cars, GM is going to make EV cars, and Americans are going to buy them. What she did find, though, was that that's not what Americans want. They actually want to buy a different kind of car than Joe Biden wanted them to buy. So Donald Trump has said, let's bring freedom back. Let's let the consumer choose what vehicle works for them. And again, if you live in a city, an EV is great. But if you live in northern Wisconsin, where I come from, they don't work. It's cold and it's rural. So let me choose the vehicle that works for me. And by the way, at the same time, if I can bring the price of that vehicle down, the American consumer is a winner. And so President Trump has, and I hear him talk about it publicly, and I hear him talk about it privately, he cares about how with the affordability for the American consumer. And he gets frustrated when we saw the inflation of the last administration, the price increases because of, say, fuel economy standards. There was no affordability. And he's actually working to make these products more affordable for the American consumer, going so far, and I was just telling Phil this, with energy dominance and bringing gas prices down as well.
Mr. Secretary, just one follow-up, and it was something that Mary and I talked about yesterday as well, though. Clearly, this should help bring and make cars more affordable in the short term right now. There's a longer-term question about a world in which China is able to make EVs at materially cheaper prices than ours, in large part because they are subsidized too, and what that ultimately means globally for American automakers, whether if they're not investing in the same way in EVs for all sorts of reasons, whether 10 years from now we're going to look and say our automakers are living in a regional or domestic market.
But is that my job at DOT or Donald Trump's job to force GM or Ford to invest in EVs? It's their job to look at the market and global demands. And if they see global demands for EVs are real, they should make those investments. But let's not force them to build cars that Americans don't want to buy in this country. We're not going to do that. And again, I think China loves the EV push because they control 90% of critical minerals. They have a corner on the market. Every car that's going to be sold is going to have Chinese parts in it and Chinese processed critical minerals in those cars. Listen, we have a lot of oil and gas here. We have so again, I think we should be responsive to global markets, but also to the American markets as well. And again, China wants this because China has a corner on critical minerals.
Let me ask you about something that came up in the Oval Office yesterday.
Yeah.
The president says, I saw these microcars. Over in Asia. Why don't we have these here? We can't build them here in the U.S. I think we're not going to get into the technical parts of this, but there are reasons why we don't see those vehicles here in the U.S. Will you change the rules so that microcars can be built and they can be driven on highways? Right now they're restricted by speed limits and safety features. Will you change that?
He called me after the meeting actually and said, let's change the rules. And so I worked with NHTSA. We're in the process, clearing the deck. So listen, if there's a market for those vehicles, I want to give our manufacturers the opportunity to build those cars. And so we are at NHTSA going to clear the deck, clear the rules, and let them build those small cars. And again, are they going to work on the freeways? Probably not. But again, vehicles that work in cities, and if that's where you drive, it could be a great solution for you. And by the way, much more affordable than other options that are on the market today.
Let's switch gears real quick. Autonomous vehicles.
Yeah.
Waymo is expanding into more cities where they're going to start testing out their vehicles. They're already operational in 3 cities. Elon Musk has designs to do it as well. Would you like to see even more autonomous vehicles out on the road?
I would. But what I want is to say, again, this technology is coming. I want this to be American technology. I don't want to have rules in place that take the innovation that could happen in America and send it somewhere else. I want the innovation and the jobs to be here in America, so I want to have the right rules. I call it my Goldilocks my theories of I don't want to go too fast on the regulatory front, right, where we have bad things happen. I don't want to go too slow where I lose the innovation. I have to get it just right. And we're trying to have the right pacing to make sure that this can develop here in America. What I don't want is to shut the industry down, have it be developed in China, and then all of a sudden we have Chinese autonomous technology coming to America, which is a national security issue as well. So listen, it's coming. Let's make sure it's American technology.
Quickly, we're heading into the holiday season. I want to ask about air travel. We in good shape in terms of what you're expecting, both in terms of air traffic controllers and the system being ready to handle?
So controllers have come back to their staffing levels that were pre-shutdown. Again, I can't control the weather. We're going to have a lot of people flying. We had a fairly good Thanksgiving, but for some weather in places like Chicago. So no, we feel really good. But I'll tell you this. We got $12.5 billion for modernizing air traffic control. And with that, we've replaced over 30% of the copper to fiber. Big deal. Now, we're still on analog. We have to get from analog to digital, but we are moving at lightning speed. The last administration planned to do this over the course of more than 10 years. We're already a third done. So we're moving very quickly. We're bringing in outside help. Again, I think the American people want this. They demand it, and we're going to deliver.